Howdy y'all, got the Bulldog on the channel. I told you we'd have an update for you maybe that whenever this Grand Prix got taken care of and we found the problem. What was killing it was the injector pulse width was going to nothing. It was just narrowing down to the point that it wasn't getting any fuel and that killed the motor. You see here's the mass airflow sensor, and it doesn't have a straight line down, but it kind of gradually curves. Well, the engine was dying pretty quickly, so that would be the reason for that. Here's the grams per second on the mass airflow sensor. It matches the signal. And of course, you see the pulse width. We checked that yesterday. Now I was checking it with my computer on a scope, and the scope just reads the signature, and that was fine. Well, the pulse width itself, the time in between the signatures, was what was narrowing down to the point that the engine would run, so it gave me a false reading. It freaking sent me down a rabbit hole, which happens a lot. The pulse width on the injectors was just narrowed down to the point that the engine wouldn't run anymore. That RPM signal that we were looking at, software glitch. Had nothing to do with it. My boss has seen it before. He told me, don't worry too much about that. Don't follow that down the rabbit hole, because that's normal. There's so many different lanes. This car's, pushing 20 years old now, and they can't keep the software straight on those things. And, the car you're driving now has got 10 times that much in it, so good luck. But here's our problem. We've got pulse width down here. We've got the amount of air going into the motor, which, is pretty high because it was running a high RPM. Air going in the motor high because it's high RPM. And then high vacuum. Just no change at all. So in reality, what was going on was you pick the motor up, get it up at a higher RPM where it actually reads the MAP sensor. That's the manifold aptitude pressure. Tells the computer how much vacuum there is. It doesn't even look at that at lower RPM because it's not all that accurate. It uses the mass airflow sensor instead. Well, when it needs that other sensor and looks at it, it says, oh shoot, lots of vacuum, narrow down the pulse width. So the computer actually told the injectors to narrow down the pulse width, and it did it so much that it will almost kill the motor, usually did. So now, on our real data, I've already pulled everything out of the car, so can't show you it. But put a new MAP sensor on it. The MAP sensor came off in pieces. It's plastic, it's crystallized. I went to unplug it, it just crumbled. Took it out in 4 or 5 different pieces. That was fun. But we finally got the part in, and I hit the key, fired it up, watched on the graph there where it actually read what the motor was doing, and then got in there and rev the motor up, and it'll sit there and bounce off the rev limiter now instead of dying. So we're taken care of. So we'll see what else we can get in trouble with today. Like, comment, subscribe, hit your little bell notification, share around. Talk to you later.